A few months ago, I posted a video of my son and his friends taking the engine out of his Volkswagen 4-litre W8 Passat. Because we're pretty sure one of the big ends had gone. There was a terrible knocking noise. So we sourced a replacement engine, and in this video, you'll see him swapping the ancillaries over from one engine to the other, adding the gearbox and dropping the engine in. You'll see it start for the first time, and then there's a little clip of replacing one of the rear shock absorbers, actually both. It's quite a tricky job because it's a full Torsen four-wheel drive system and things are a bit tight in there. Then it goes for its MOT test, so it passes the government test. But then we had to rethread one of the bolt fixings for one of the engine mounts, which surprisingly had stripped, and then he takes it for a ride. So I hope you enjoy it. In the future sometime, we'll strip at least the bottom off the old engine and we'll see whether or not one of those big ends had really gone. But that's for the future. I don't know quite when we'll do that. It's 6 days since the near side engine came out of the W8, and so the team are back and we're moving stuff from the near side engine to the far side engine. Well, when I say we, I mean them, because I'm only just kind of freeloading on the video here. So there's a fair bit of work involved. The near side engine outwardly actually looks in better shape, but we know one of the cylinders is off, so we've no choice but to move the stuff onto the replacement engine, which my son's got. This is the engine that came out, and the manifold, inlet manifold, sits up here, and there's a kind of bridging lower manifold that goes across here, and under that sits the thermostat. And I'm just showing this complexity of this casting here. It's quite amazing, isn't it? Now, apparently, the thermostat which sits there, a replacement is £500, something like that, because the casting, the thermostat casting has a heater in it, and if the heating element fails, bingo, 500 quid, which is what, I don't know, $600 US.
How do you want to organise? Because now you're changing, now you're deciding.
Just in the business of getting the cats off the original engine. It's quite a job because there's so many other brackets to come off first. What do the gearbox seals look like? You know, the drive shaft output seals, are they looking all right?
Yeah, I think so. I checked all that under the car before we started.
All right. Because somebody asked the question, do you remember why didn't we leave the transmission in the car? But I think the answer was it was so difficult to get to with that big engine in, plus you'd be laying on your back for ages.
It would be more work than what we've done.
Yeah, and I was thinking as well, the other thing is if there'd been any problems with the output seals, it would be far easier to deal with it with the engine out and gearbox out of the car. Plus I thought if there was any difference between the engine blocks, if there was any adaptation we had to do, you had to do, to put the gearbox onto this new engine, you'd be far better doing that with it out of the car. So you've got all this front running gear sorted out, haven't you? So you've got a new, what's this, power steering pump, is it? Power steering pump's this one, air conditioner's this one, is it?
Yeah.
Finalizing.
Yeah, power steering, AC, idler is new, tension is new with the thing.
Yeah.
Water pump's new.
Right.
Idler's new. Alternator's been done a few years ago, so I've not done that.
Yeah.
And then behind here, which you can't see, there's a plastic cover here.
Yes.
And it's got the balance shaft belt and tensioner, which the belt is new.
Okay. And then this front pulley, are you having to change that? Because it's rubber damped, isn't it?
It's rubber damped, but you can't, I doubt you can get new ones on it. It's in good nick.
Oh, right, okay.
And I think they last basically forever.
Because your friend's on his Phaeton, that pulley separated.
Yeah, the V6 TDI, they break all the time.
Oh, right.
But on these, thankfully, they're reliable.
So the V6 TDI is a very common engine anyway, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Goes in the Audis as well, is that right?
Yeah. A6s, A8s, Q7s.
Yeah. Is that what you got in your Phaeton then?
Yeah.
Okay.
3 litre TDI, 240 brake.
Yes, yeah.
I'll just pull it off.
So that, they were trying to get the last clip on, that for some reason that one clip got displaced, didn't it? So you put the fuel rail on, found the clip was missing, hoped to put the clip on with the fuel rail on, but it doesn't work like that. Right, well, we've got an issue to deal with. This is the engine that came out. It has a manual gearbox, flywheel goes on there. Notice how open that is there. Now on the other engine, the replacement, it was connected to an automatic gearbox, and the automatic gearbox has a bush that just goes there. You'll see in a moment. We need to get that bush out. It's only a press fit, but it's not coming out with any kind of twist that we can put on it. So on the other engine, there's the bush, just a plain bush that gets pressed in, and the idea is to make an extractor screw. Well, it is what it is, look, and just weld it around the edge of this nut here. Now I looked at doing it with MIG, and that was my idea, to do it with MIG, but my son doesn't want spatter. Even though we've got spatter spray, he doesn't want it. So I'm just going to wheel the TIG set over here and just TIG this nut onto there, and then hopefully we just turn this and it should pull that out. So this is the setup. My son's going to hold it in place like that. I'm going to have to use my knee to work the pedal. Excuse me while I just move down. So there's the pedal. And we'll do it like that. Shouldn't take a minute to do, hopefully.
Right.
Maybe this will work.
It's working.
What, already? Oh, what, without any drama or build-up?
No, it just came straight away.
I could put some music over it, couldn't I?
No, this is
some
good.
dramatic music. I may edit this section just to cut out the middle bit, because it's it's taking a while, isn't it? They're just discussing how to get the new engine onto the hoist, because the new engine's on a pallet, so they can't get the legs of the hoist there. So they're trying to figure out the best way.
I think I would bend that.
No, it's fine.
It's still catching.
Wait.
Yeah, you're all right. Just
Alright,
take it steady. Okay. Good. So we now we need to support the engine, let the crane down, take the extra chain links out, and then we're kind of good. We're kind of good then, and then they can think about getting the gearbox on after we've turned the whole thing around by 180, I guess.
That should maybe.
It's getting quite dark now, but it doesn't look so dark on the camera. Yeah, we had that set to 1/4 of a ton, and it's not really enough, so we've moved it out to 1/2 a ton. Moved it back this way to 1/2 a ton, and hopefully it'll still reach.
Jacking a bit nicer as well with it, a bit further, a bit closer.
Yes. So presumably you're just going to settle the engine again, are you, on that, or what are you going to do?
I'm going to rotate it around it.
Oh, of course, you've got to rotate the whole crane, haven't you? Yeah.
Yeah. We're probably about 5 full days in.
5 full days of work at this
about
stage.
5 evenings probably.
Yes. Yeah.
But we're only amateurs, so a garage would have been quicker.
Of course, they'd have done it in an afternoon.
Yeah, right, if that.
Yeah.
Okay, go on.
Of course you've got stones as well, haven't you? It's, the wheels are catching on stones. Oh, that was easy. So will that be it tonight when it's settled on there? Are you?
No, we want to fit the gearbox.
Oh, you're doing that tonight as well?
I think so.
Oh wow. What are we on? It's 7:20 in the evening on the 21st of September 2024. We'll just note that date and time for posterity.
In your window video, you complain about the sun.
In my what video? Oh, the window. Yeah, I know. Well, the sun. It's great to have this lovely early October sunshine, but then when it's in your face, it's not very good because it's so low in the sky.
Yeah.
So anyway, you putting the gearbox bell housing on, is that right?
Well, yeah, putting the bell housing bolts in, yeah.
Bolts in, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, well anyway, if I keep talking we won't get a copyright infringement on your music. It's not much of a problem, to be honest, usually. Oh yeah, it was missing some bolts, wasn't it, from the bell housing?
It was missing, I think it was missing 3 in the end.
Oh wow.
So thanks VW.
Yeah.
Because they're basically the only people that have worked on this car.
Oh yeah.
It was full VW history until I think 2019 or 18. from a original owner.
Yeah.
Who lived in London.
Ah, it was London, you see.
London, yeah. And then my friend had it for, I think, maybe 3.5 or 4 years.
Yeah.
And barely drove it. He did about 8,000 miles. So he didn't really do any work on it particularly. Not much.
Yeah. It's looking good though.
Yeah.
So that's the cats are on now.
Yeah.
So what do you reckon? Engine mounts?
Engine mounts, yeah.
Oh, you had to take one of those engine mounts off to get it out, didn't you? Do you remember?
That, I think it was one of these.
You're on video, by the way, guys, just in case you...
Live on Channel 4?
Yeah, in case you wanted to really swear and let rip.
That is nice to see you.
So they're just about at the stage where the engine is going to be dropped in. Now, they always tend to do these sort of important jobs when it's dark to make sure they can't see what they're doing. That was a joke.
Yeah. Helps with the concentration.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah. What, the joke or the dark?
Less overwhelmed by the light. It's less information to process.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good system. I don't know why other people haven't caught on to it, to be honest.
Our sense of feel is better for screws and things.
Well, absolutely. You develop other senses, don't you, when you can't see what you're doing.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Right, where does the jack use?
We're just trying to keep it level. They are trying to keep it level as it goes up.
Probably go a lot more with the jack, to be honest.
It's jacked under the diff, and then it's hanging from the hoist.
I can't remember what angle we had it now as well. So steering with the jack's very difficult.
Yeah, we're going to start going down though, because the them bits have actually fouled.
Okay, we're all right.
All right.
So this should be steering that round.
Stop. Right, yeah. So we're too high now at the front here.
Okay.
Because that's going to start hitting there.
Okay. Yeah.
So we'll have to go down with it.
I have to now lift the front up.
What a lump.
Yeah. This needs to lift up now.
Yeah.
So we need to angle that down.
We can go forwards a little bit more if you want to go a little bit forward again.
When do we need to use clutch slave? We're alright for now, aren't we? Okay. Forwards.
Yeah.
Feels like something catches somewhere.
Only a bit.
Oh, I think it's the crane.
Stop. And that gives us a little bit more at the top again there to play with.
Yeah.
More manoeuvring discussions. It's going well at the moment.
Like there is all I can think.
Yeah, we need
So now they're just trying to position the jack on the far side of the subframe cross member.
Because I'm blocking myself.
It's amazing how you
Right, I'm going to leave them at this point. I'm getting a bit chilly. And I don't think they need my advice anyway. I've just been a bit of a watchdog from a distance, that's all. So what is it you're doing now? Putting the clutch slave cylinder on?
Trying. It's very difficult. I'm worried about that not lining up either.
So it'll be clutch slave cylinder and then
What, the end of it not lining up?
gearbox mounts, I think, and then it's just slip it in then.
Simple as that, yeah.
Another hour and a half, you'll be fine.
This isn't going to go in. This needs to go in straight.
Right, well, we'll leave them for now.
Right, can it not go underneath that?
Just a bit of phone video the next morning. Well, they got it in about 11:30, something like that. And it's sitting on its mounts. And I think he's planning to do a bit this afternoon as well, if it doesn't rain. What a monster. A gloomy, damp Saturday, and my son's here on his own, just chipping away at this, preparing to get the front on. So here he's been preparing the front of the car. So what have you done? You changed the radiator, is that right?
Yeah, the radiator is a used one. You can't get them new. The aircon fan's been replaced with a brand new one, which you can get.
Yeah.
And just done a bit of tidying, replacing a few rusty screws, etc., so that if anyone needs to remove anything in the future, they can actually do it without issue.
Oh yeah, you showed me that the one of the headlight retaining screws
held in with a nut, which you wouldn't be able to get to unless you...
To get under here, that's it, this one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there was a long bolt and a nut on there, so you'd practically have to take the front of the car off to get the headlamp out. But anyway, you've put a spring clip on there with a thread on it, is that right?
Yeah, speed fastener, yeah.
Speed fastener, is that what they call them? Yeah. So as soon as you can get somebody to help you, you can pretty much get this on, do you think?
Yep. That's
Yeah.
it, hopefully.
So then it's just a case of starting it then, isn't it? And driving off into
Yeah.
the sunset?
Yeah, basically. Well, sort of, yeah. A few steps in between, but essentially.
Brilliant.
Top power steering, I'm sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Cheers. Do you want me to do it through a footage? Yeah, go on then.
No, I'll do it.
Everything off the engine, yeah? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just give it like a few seconds and then stop. Like literally 2 or 3 seconds and then stop. For this minute, just to test the engine sounds okay. Yeah?
Okay.
And then we'll do longer.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds terrible, that. Okay, go on. It sounds like the timing is completely out, but hopefully it's okay. Alright, go on then.
Just a few seconds again.
No, go a bit longer. That was running okay. I think it's the just stuff is dry.
Yeah.
It sounded horrible, but it ran well.
Yeah. It started really quickly, actually.
Well, yeah, but it like sounded like like it should.
Yeah.
Let me just dip the oil again. Well, no, it's fine. Keep going.
Then we're going to let it start and just stop it.
No, just run it. So on these 4Motion Passats, they're quite awkward to get the shock unit out. And I'm not sure what the correct way is, but we just took every bolt out that we could see, basically. So I've put a couple back in now, but this bolt, the shock bolt, these came out, the inner arm bolts, the level sensor for the xenon headlights, top arm, and obviously the top shock bolts, and it just made everything a lot easier. Rather than when we just had the top arm undone, it was like you couldn't get the arm down low enough to get the shock, which is kind of held in like a puzzle with this top arm.
We're just pulling the W8 in because we need to do some work on an engine mount. You will see. So to this point it's had the engine change and all 4 shock absorbers changed. It's been for the government inspection, what we call the Ministry of Transport test, or MOT. Passed that, so it's on the road, it's insured, it's taxed. That is right, isn't it?
It will be in about an hour when I do it.
In about an hour. So it's only been to the garage and back, which you're allowed to do without tax, because you can't get tax unless it's had a government inspection pass. There's a couple of observations on it which we'll need to look at some stage, but we've discovered that there's a bolt strip which goes up through the engine mount into the cross member, not cross member,
It's into the chassis.
into
leg.
the chassis leg, yeah.
And it wasn't something we even had apart, it was something that I noticed. You could turn the washer around and it would just spin.
Right, okay.
And the head wasn't tight.
So we're a bit worried then, if you drove it too much, then the engine mount would fall off from underneath, is that right?
Yeah, there's 3 bolts in total that are meant to be in, and 2 of them are still there and fine.
Yes.
But the position of this third
Yes.
is quite a critical one, because it's actually the one that supports the engine the most.
Oh, okay,
Because
yeah.
of its position.
And was stripped. Okay, so there's a captive nut which is in the chassis.
Chassis leg.
Yeah, which is stripped
Yeah, it has no threads.
and would fall out from underneath, right?
Correct.
Yeah, oh, that would be great. So, because it's not a good look, is it? If your engine's dragging on the floor,
Yeah.
that's not really desirable, is it?
No.
I ought to just say, really, for everybody who's got it on their mind, This was not an obvious fault. The bolt was in place, it was there. My son was just double checking the tightness of all of these and noticed that one of them turned without tightening, if you see what I mean. So it would have been very difficult to spot, but it was just a little gift left to us by whoever had done the work in the past. Axle stands front and back before we get under this thing. I don't want to be flattened before Christmas. It's not on my plan. Especially when it's not even my car. So that's the one that came out, right?
Yeah.
So is it a 10 standard thread by the look of it?
Correct, yeah.
And it's got quite a nice lead on it, okay. So you've got that pot of bolts there. Screws. We could argue whether they're screws or bolts, but we're not going to do that. So we're going to go to 12.
Yeah.
Because if it's stripped at 10, we'll need to be up to 12, I think, to get a full thread or close to a full thread, won't we?
Correct.
Yeah, all right. So we're looking for length and we're looking for pitch, because we've got to make sure we got the taps for it, haven't we? Just saying this out loud, folks, so you know what we're doing, that's all. So we'll find a bolt. I'll try and show you where this bolt's come from. So there's the engine mount. You can see the sway bar is connected to it. We don't say sway bar, what do we say?
Anti-roll bar.
Anti-roll bar
In the
in the UK. Oh, there we are. It's here. I don't even know if this is focusing because I've got varifocal glasses. It could be the camera that's out of focus on me. There it is. So that's where that bolt went. Now luckily the hole's quite big in there, so we might be able to manage without taking the engine mount off, but I'll have to find a square drive for the tap. We've got a tap. So the bolt that we've chosen is M12 metric fine with a pitch of 1.5 mil. My taps aren't that sharp, but I hope it'll be okay. So I'm going to try and find a square drive for the tap on an extension, and my son's trying to get that engine mount lined up. There we are. Our plan is to drill this out with a 10.5mm. Well, I don't have one, but I do have a Z. So a Z is supposed to be 10.49. I know these cut a little bit big, but I think it'll be okay. Right, we're trying to rig up an extension for this tap, and what we've discovered is that the drive square on the tap is just about 1/4. So with a fairly slack 1/4 adapter on it, we've got this extender, which has then got a socket 12mm, which has then got one of these X drives in this socket on this. So that's given us an extension, because we really don't want to take that engine mount off. I think it's going to be quite difficult. The trouble with these taps is, it's binding. These taps are not very sharp, that's part of the problem. We just put tapping compound on it. It's nipping, it's binding here a bit. We'll go forward a bit and back a bit. We're just going to have to take this steady, aren't we? Just take our time, okay? Right, here goes. So using the handheld wrench like this, we can feel it, because we think the thread is long enough on the screw. Bolt. You all right?
Yep.
We better not get into an argument about which are screws and which are bolts, but I think it is a screw because it's not threaded all the way to the end. No, a bolt. See what I mean? How's it feel?
Good. It's just touching now.
Right. I think you've got plenty of thread left then on this bolt.
I think so.
Well, it's been much easier not having to take the engine mount off. That tap that I've got, it's in a set that I got from Screwfix for £60 a long time ago, and I have to say they're not very good. The taps look fine, but they're not very sharp. Right.
Just trying to get a feel for this.
Yeah.
It's kind of difficult.
The metal, the nut that it screws into in that frame, it's quite soft stuff. I can see the strobing from this light. Let's try and move it. That's it. Is that strobing still? Apologies if it is, can't help it. Yeah?
I'm struggling with this.
Well, just give it a nip for your final nip.
I don't know if it's tightening.
Oh, I see. I'm sure it will be. Okay. Let's come off camera and then figure this out then. As we were tightening this, we weren't getting a positive feel at the end, and what we've discovered is that the bracket, the engine mount, is actually away from the frame. So we're going to jack this engine mount up to the frame, and then we'll get that positive feel, we hope, screwing this up, because we don't want to screw it up by screwing it up. A bit of brain work and we can get this right, I think. How's it feeling?
I think that's up.
Yeah, up against yeah. Not ideal, is it, having that
that's
bolt missing?
By hand a little bit.
Ah, okay, right.
Just got a bit of a turn on that.
All right. So we've added a steel washer as well, so that the clamping action can be steel against steel.
That's tight.
Yeah, you're happy now?
Yeah.
So that engine mount must have been hanging down quite a lot then.
Yeah, it was a couple of mil.
Goodness me.
Because it's the only other bolts. I don't know what the camera can see, but there's one up there.
Yeah, you can see.
And then there's one there, which does this and the subframe.
Yes.
And the engine is supported over here.
Right.
The engine mount attached to this
so there's kind of lever effect then.
Yeah, so it's pivoting on these two.
Yes.
And this is what this bolt, which was the problem bolt, is what arrests that.
Yeah. Sorry about the flicker, folks. Can't do anything. Yeah. All right. So we're done then, aren't we?
Yeah.
So you'll be taking out for a ride this afternoon, the first proper drive.
First proper test drive. We're going to try and go to the coast.
Oh, gosh.
Which is 50 miles.
See you next week then.
And I've got breakdown cover, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, see what happens. Fantastic. All right. We'll try and get some shots of it this afternoon, will you?
Yeah,
and then I can put them on the end of the video, yeah?
Sure.
Okay. You look very relaxed down there. Right, so that's pretty much on the road then, isn't it now? And then you'll just have to work off those, what do you call them? Advisories, let's call it that.
Yeah.
Okay.